Hello everyone, Sheila back again. Today I'm back with a happy mail from Angela. I have opened this, it's come from Amazon because it was I was at my granddaughter's yesterday and I got home probably not just a little bit before 7 and this was in my letterbox. And it was a bit late for to do a video on that then, so I'm showing, so I already know what's in it. I've opened it up. It's a knitting and crochet journal. Now I did have another one of these sent to me to another lady called Angela quite a long time ago, but I had used up all what I could put in it a long time ago because of the amount of knitting I get. And it's this sort of thing. I'll show you. You write down your project, the recipient, who it's for, the date you started, the date you finished, the pattern, yarn used, the brand, the colour, needles or hooks used, project notes. And that's one page for each. You write all the information down. And the other lady, Angela, that sent me one was quite some time ago. Didn't even realise how much knitting I do. I would have to go back on all the pages in the one that Angela sent to me, that the other Angela sent to me. And there was also a crochet and knitting planner. I think there's an N missing out of planner. That looks like planer. I don't know what country wrote that, but we have 2 N's in planner. I just noticed that when I was reading that. For 2024, anyway. And it's the sketches for pattern idea, podcasts and books, blogs and vlogs. And it has all the dates for the months. And that's start from January, crochet days. So I will have to write down the days that I crochet in here. All the days. I don't know how long it goes for. That's for the crochet days. So I can fold it up there so you can see. So I'll have to write down all in all those dates and that for all the months when I crochet, and then it goes on to pattern planner. So you can see all the writing there. See, the different things I can think about. The hook, the yarn, project name, end date, and that's. And then you have yarn stash, has all the different things down. Name of yarn, fibre content, colour, source, purchased. Everything to do with the wool that you get. And you can even make drawings, your own drawings of maybe what stitches that you want to put down. That's for knitting or crochet. It's not just crochet, it's for knitting too. The row plan for working out rows. There's a row counter. Row counter down here. So it's everything to do with knitting and crochet and everything you could possibly need to do or need to write down. So those 2 very handy books, Angela. So thank you very much. They are going to come in very handy. I'll have to start sorting out for the January and February. I'll have to sort out what I was doing then and write them in those months because it's already started for 24. So that's something for to fill my time in as well. It takes a lot of time to work all these things out. So I'll put those over there. And I was at my granddaughter's yesterday, and I did take my own knitting with me. I put the stitch marker in. That was all I did at my granddaughter's from there to there. I didn't do any when I got home, but that was because I had done a little bit at my granddaughter, so I did a little bit of my other things when I got home. But when I was at my granddaughter's, I also did this. It's a little swatch. This is the grey wool that I bought from Majestic for to replace this sweater here. It's nearly the same colour. I think it's slightly deeper, just slightly deeper than the sweater I'm wearing. But this is a little swatch for the cable and the garter little cardigans I've been doing, because that's what I'm going to do for myself, but it's going to be a sweater. And as it's for an adult, I'm making the panels larger. So instead of being 4 stitches for the cable and 4 stitches for the garter, this is 6 stitches for the cable. I'm going to cross 3 over 3, and I've made 8 stitches in the centre for the garter, and that's the 6 stitches for the cable again, and that is 24 stitches wide, which is what I was doing this for, because with changing the number of stitches to all that, I'd need to do a swatch for doing it for myself. And as you can see, it has a sort of like a wavy edge to it. That's because when you knit garter stitch in with stocking stitch, the garter stitch pulls it up. That's why you have that little wave at the bottom. So I needed that for the number of rows to do as well. But it won't matter for doing from the bottom up to the armholes, because you just measure that as you go. But I do need to know how many rows from here up to the shoulder to work that out. So that was why I did a swatch for this. But this is 24 stitches wide, and it measures exactly 4 inches. So I know this pattern is going to be 6 stitches to the inch. But the length of the rows, I'm just going to have to work that out as I go, because like I'm seeing, the garter stitch pulls it up and the cable pulls it in. So you have to work things like that out. But normally when I knit with double knitting on, there was 4mm needles, an inch would be about 7.5 rows. But I've measured this bit in the centre, the garter here, and this is more like 9 rows to the inch. But the cable part is will probably be the 7.5 to 8 rows to the inch. So I'm going to have to work that out as I go. I'll do it when I do the back. I'll just work how many rows I do from after I've done the rib up to the armholes, and I'll work out how many inches and how many rows there are to the inch, and then I can work that out from the armholes up to the shoulder, how many rows I actually need to do for that part. So that was just my little swatch that I managed to get done with my little knitting, while I managed to keep the dogs on the floor instead of on me. I kept telling them, they kept trying to get up on my knee. I thought, no, down. I did let them come up. I put my knitting away after I had my lunch and that, like, and I let them come up then. But I think they were a little bit wary because I told them to get down that many times. I think they're starting to take notice of me now. But anyway, I have been doing a little bit more of my own. Well, not my own, my things I'm doing for my pattern. So I've worked out the back and the front on that one, and I'm halfway up the other front for that one, for the raindrop pattern. So it will not be long till I get that one finished. And I did a little bit more of this one. You can see that's the length, because that's where the cable is up the top. So that's how much I've done. and the length of that one. I thought I'll do a few more rows of that one because I hadn't done anything. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one after I make it actually. I started it. I wasn't sure about the white. I wasn't sure about this white one, the white fluffy one, when I first started it. About whether I was going to be able to knit it because I was having so much trouble with it at first. That was why I started this one. I thought, oh, I might just do this one instead. But then I found out I could knit that one okay, so I've managed with it anyway. But I'd already started this one, so I'll either sell it when I've finished it or I could keep it for myself. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I'm just going to keep on doing a little bit of it now and again to make it the full size, baby blanket size. But the baby blanket size is actually big enough for putting on your lap if an adult wanted one just to put on their lap to keep them warm, you know. But I needed something like that last night. I came in from my granddaughter's, put all that stuff down out the way, pick my knitting up while I'm talking, put that away. But I came in from my granddaughter's, it was around about 7, maybe it's just before 7, about 6:30, something like that. And I had put my central heating on when I went out, but I put it on very low, just to keep a little bit heat in the house so it wasn't freezing cold when I came back in. Only when I came in, it felt very cold in the house, and I touched the radiator and there was no heat at all. And I have a dial that's on the bottom of down the bottom of my staircase. And I don't bother setting the heat, and I just turn that dial when I get up in the morning, if I want to warm the house up a little bit, or turn it off, turn it back again if I want to turn it off. I don't have it set up to come on automatically, but I did leave my heating on very low. So I turned it up, and it usually clicks when it gets to the point where it gets to what the temperature of the house is. There was no click. I usually keep it between 18 and 20 degrees. That's what it's usually on. Went past the 20 and kept going higher and higher, and there was no click at all. So my boiler is upstairs in one of my little spare bedrooms. So I went up there to check the boiler, and there was an error message on the boiler. No heating, no central heating. I do have a convector heater in the living room. It's one of those ones that blows warm air out. It's either use or ornament. You've got to be sitting over it to feel the heat of it. And even after it's been on a while, it blows out cold air as well. I think it must cool down after so often, and I don't like that. But anyway, I can phone the council. It is classed as an emergency, especially this time of year in the cold weather. With the council, if our central heating's not working, it's classed as an emergency and they have to come out as soon as possible to fix it. But I thought, well, 6:30, I'm going to drag some poor fella out from he's probably on emergency, thing anyway. And I have got the heater in the fire in my living room, and that's all where I'm going to be sitting in the living room anyway. So I thought I'll wait until tomorrow morning and I'll phone them up tomorrow. So they came this morning and checked it, and he had to do a lot of this, that and the other. I went round, checked all my radiators in case there was a leak or anything in one of them that was caused it. They fixed it anyway, and it's on now, but like I just put up, like I told the fellow when he come to fix the boiler, I said, well, I could have rang last night, but I says, I wasn't that bothered. I've got a heater I've got one of those convector heaters in my living room, and he says, but you should have still rung up. He says, that's what we are here for. He says, we are on emergency. That's what's classed as an emergency. And I said, well, I was okay. I says, just with the fire in the living room. I says, years ago, that's all we had. We used to just have a fire in the living room and everybody sat in the living room. That was in the days when all the families were together in one room because we had were coal fires in those days. We had a coal fire and we all sat round the fire and, watching. We only had one television in the whole house as well. Everybody had to watch that one television. And he was laughing, and he says, "You older people," he says, "you talk about things like that." I says, "I know you's a lot of soft these days, aren't you?" But anyway, I had a nice chat with him, a bit laughing. I made him a cup of tea as well while he was there, because he said he was going to go to his van and he must have had a flask or something in his van and have his cup of tea. And I said, "Oh, don't bother, I'll meet you on here. Somebody to talk to for a while." That's what he says to me. "You're trying to keep me from my job, aren't you?" So anyway, that was that fixed, and I'm getting on now with what I can do with these things. So anyway, that's my little bit for today. So thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you all another day. So bye for now.